Welcome to our Faith After Doubt series. This series is for you if you grew up in church and have lost your faith, if you are in a moment of deconstruction or reconstruction, if scandals, politics, and hate have led you into doubt, if you are curious about why doubt and faith seem so interlinked, or if you're simply just curious about this community. This series is not about trying to fix you, because you are not broken. This series is not about erasing your doubts and experiences. Both are sacred and holy. All of us have doubts, and all of us are on journeys with similar paths. And Mission Gathering doesn't think that you should have to go through that journey alone. So if you're Asian, Hispanic, white, or indigenous, if you're a male or female, trans or non-binary, if you're 3 days old, 30 years old, or 103 years old, if you've never stepped foot in a church, or if you're a Buddhist, Roman Catholic, agnostic, or a lifelong evangelical, you are welcome here. If you are single, married, divorced, separated, or partnered, if you're straight, gay, lesbian, or bisexual, if you're a Republican, Democrat, an independent, or a socialist, or even not registered to vote, you are welcome here. If you have had or had addictions, phobias, abortions, or a criminal record, if you own your home, rent, live with your parents, or are homeless, if you are fully abled, disabled, or a person of differing abilities, you are welcome to join us on this journey, to share our table filled with the tension of faith and doubt. Welcome to one and all.
Just as I am, though tossed about with many a conflict, many a doubt, fighting in fear, within and without, O Lamb of God, I come. Jesus, I'm sorry about last night. Jesus, we both know I tried. Jesus, feels like the world's in pieces. I wonder about the reasons, and I've got my doubts. Jesus, I've got my doubts. When everything that's right feels wrong, and all of my belief feels gone, and the darkness in my heart is so strong, can you reach me here in the silence, singing these broken songs, looking for the light for so long, but the pain goes on and on and on. Can you reach me here in the silence? Jesus, what a week we've had. Jesus, has the world gone mad? Jesus, feels like the world's in pieces. I wonder about the reason, and I've got my doubt. Jesus, I've got a doubt. Oh, Jesus, I've got my doubts. When everything that's right feels wrong, and all of my belief feels gone, and the darkness in my heart is so strong. Can you reach me in the silence, singing these broken songs, looking for the light for so long, but the pain goes on and on and on. Can you reach me here in the silence? Are you there? Can you hear me? Do you care? Are you near me? 'Cause I'm scared and I'm weary. Are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there? Can you hear me? Do you care? Are you near me? 'Cause I'm scared and I'm weary. Are you there? 'Cause everything that's right feels wrong, and all of my belief is gone, and the darkness in my heart is so strong. Can you reach me here in the silence, singing these broken songs, looking for the light for so long, but the pain goes on and on and on. Can you reach me here in the silence? Can you reach me here in the silence? Can you reach me here in the silence? Jesus, I have my doubts.
In the first stage of simplicity, we build up our beliefs. We repeat what is taught to us by our authority figures and religious leaders that are in our lives. In the second stage of complexity, we begin our piety project, working hard to prove the value of our beliefs to others and even to ourselves. For many people, the journey through faith ends here, stuck in the cycle of trying to prove a conclusion that they've already reached, competing over and over again with other belief groups to prove their own group to be the most right. But for many of us, doubt enters into our lives and we begin to sharpen our critical thinking skills. Our goal is no longer building up or acting out our beliefs, but instead revealing the hidden agendas and manipulations that people have been using against us for their own purposes, exposing the ugliness and the mess of human history and how in the name of religion we've treated others and each other. This stage can be addictive, not because it is wrong to use our hard fought for critical thinking skills, but it can be addictive because our own ego is trying to push us backwards in our journey through faith, back into the clear black and whites of dualistic thinking, of thinking that all religion is wrong or bad and all of history is only filled with the bad. Over the last decade, we've seen how polarization and dualistic thinking is truly deadly. The competition to prove whose ideals in politics are right has led to the unnecessary deaths of hundreds of thousands of people during the COVID-19 pandemic. And if you chose to isolate yourself for your own safety and for the safety of others, you've been alone for almost 2 years in your doubts. You may feel like two of my favorite hobbits in J.A.R. Tolkien's The Two Towers. Sam says, "It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here, but we are. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered, full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end, because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened?" Sam explains so well what perplexity, what stage 3, faith in doubt, feels like. How can anything go back to the way it was? How can we ever feel as secure in our faith as we thought we were before all of this shadow came to rest upon it? The journey through doubt seems like it will never end. But Mission Gathering and friends, Sam's speech doesn't end there. Sam continues, but in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folks in those stories had a lot of chances of turning back, only they didn't, because they were holding on to something. Frodo says, "What are we holding on to, Sam?" Sam responds that there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. Maybe your journey into doubt left you feeling the heavy burden that is crushing Frodo's spirit in The Lord of the Rings. Maybe you feel like this burden of knowing is all that there is. But that's the place where something new can be born. Whereas Sam reminds us a new day will come and the sun will shine clearer. In our journey of faith after doubt, we call that sunshine harmony. It is the fourth stage. It is a refusal to see the world as only good or bad, to look past the shadows of people's hearts and deeds and see the light of God within them, even if that light is dim. Leaving behind that dualistic thinking means learning revolutionary love. Brian McLaren, in his book Faith After Doubt, offers us a glimpse of what this might have looked like from the perspective of the Apostle Paul. I picture Paul as a wiry, old, bald guy who squints. I imagine him in Galatia in a crowded house, leaning forward, elbows on knees, almost vibrating with intensity as he speaks to a couple dozen people in the flickering lamplight. He is trying to tell them in person what we have recorded in one of his letters written about 20 years after Jesus' death. The only thing that matters, he shouts, is faith expressing itself in love. Then he leans forward even farther and repeats himself, louder now, his bony hands wildly gesticulating for emphasis. The only thing that matters is faith expressing itself in love. Immediately, I imagine people getting restless. First 1, then 3, then 5, hands shoot up with questions and objections. What about circumcision? Moses commanded that, one says. Circumcision or uncircumcision, it's utterly insignificant, he says. The only thing that matters is faith expressing itself in love. What about our dietary restrictions? You're not going to give up on that biblical absolute, I hope, another asks. The only thing that matters is faith expressing itself in love, Paul says a little louder. What about the Gentiles? You're not talking about granting them equality in our community, are you? Another asks tensely. That's just not right. The whatabouts continue, observing certain holidays, avoiding meat that had been sacrificed to idols, not fraternizing with people of other religions. And each time, Paul responds with the same words, finally ending in a voice so gentle it is barely more than a whisper. The only thing that matters is faith expressing itself in love. I see his eyes brim with tears. Finally, I see about a third of the people stand up and walk out in exasperation, muttering to themselves, "That's too simple. It's just too simple. The man is a heretic, a liberal, a revisionist, a rebel." The answers to life's biggest questions always seem too scandalously simple. Their simplicity makes all of the years of hard work, of learning the right things, all of the sacrifices of personal piety seem useless. It makes you feel like you should have taken all of those chances to turn back on this road. But beloved friends, you didn't turn back. In this path of shadow you've walked, it has good news. It's not all darkness. It's not all gloom. because it's only through it that you can get a vision of what harmony is, or what Jesus called harmony, the kingdom of heaven. Jesus talks about this. Jesus talks about this in the Gospels. In Matthew 13, verses 16 and 17, happy are your eyes because they see. Happy are your ears because they hear. I assure you that many prophets and righteous people wanted to see what you see and hear what you hear, but they didn't. Your eyes are seeing and your ears are hearing something new, and that's hard. But through our doubts, our minds and our souls enter into what is called a post-dual consciousness, where your doubt and your faith can coexist together, calling you out of certainty about who's in and who's out, certainty about what's right and what's wrong for each individual person, but calling you into faith expressing itself in love, calling you away from the stage 3 criticisms into deep expressions of empathy and compassion. Compassion and empathy for yourself, for your loved ones, your neighbors, your enemies, and even those who call you names like heretic, liberal, revisionist, and deceiver. Maybe they journeyed out into doubt, but they didn't stay on the path. They turned back. But friends, I'm going to say it again. You are here because you didn't turn back. You are here because with all of the shadows in your life and all of the regrets in your life, in that darkness of doubt, there still burns a light of hope that there is still good in this world and that a new dawn is possible. You're on that path, but staying on that path requires you to say yes to having those new eyes and those new ears to guide you out of that doubt into a faith after and with doubt. So friends, may this be your moment of stepping into harmony. And if you're not there yet, may this be your moment where you see the light break through the shadows and see that harmony is possible. May you continue your journey through doubt, your journey through this life, your journey back to the source of all things. May you continue your journey, and may you not feel like you have to do it alone. For here are your companions, doubters and believers, one and all, at our community, Missiongathering, and communities and groups and podcasts and so many different ways of connecting all over the world. Doubters and believers, one and all, companions on this journey, Missiongathering and beloved friends, may you continue your journey through doubt to find harmony, to be the ones who say yes to creating communities of harmony. Friends, may it be so. Amen.